She's giving her first full account of, her flight to Syria. She's told this BBC podcast, which is imaginatively entitled The Shamima Begum Story. Apparently it's 10 parts, so we'll have to wait and see exactly about whether or not that drops as that. She says that she joined a terror group, but she's not the person that people think she is. Is she potentially going to use this BBC documentary as a way of getting back into Britain?
Yes, she's stateless and she wants to return to the UK, quite clearly, to enjoy, I would imagine, the benefits that are available to any British
quite
citizen.
Literally the benefits, because no one's going to employ her, but yeah.
Deliberate use of that word, may I say. And, of course, there are many, many people that simply don't want to see that happen. Yes, she lost 3 children, but those children were fathered by a terrorist. She was a member of a terrorist organisation that quite simply would like to wipe you, me, and your viewers and listeners off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So sympathy runs very thin for her amongst many, many people. I personally am pleased that she has had her citizenship revoked, and I think it might be a very long time before anybody considers reinstating that.
Yeah, and just when it comes to this, the BBC have in the past been accused of doing various things, and BBC quotes-unquote bias is something that is levelled at them on numerous occasions. Potentially, would this take the absolute biscuit if they are trying to rehabilitate the image of someone who was an ISIS bride and may or may not have been involved in some rather fruity things for the caliphate?
Well, I need to make it perfectly clear that I myself have had a BBC podcast about my hunt for a fugitive. So I know the process that has to be gone through to get one commissioned.
Yeah.
However, I'm not Shamima Begum by any stretch of the imagination. I never joined a terrorist organisation, and she did.
Yeah.
So these are poles apart in that regard. As I said, I think sympathy runs thin. The BBC chose to commission this, to give her a voice. Is that appropriate? I think the audience will decide.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty clear that in a lot of people's opinions anyway, she would always be a threat. She would always be more of a threat than someone who, I don't know, maybe had never joined ISIS. But GBNews has contacted the BBC about this series, and a spokesperson replied stating, "This is not a platform for Shamima Begum to give her unchallenged story. This is a robust public interest investigation in which Josh Baker has forensically examined who she really is and what she really did. We'd also encourage people to listen to the podcast and make up their own mind." And by the way, I think that is absolutely fair enough. Of course it is. We have to wait and listen to absolutely everything.